Here are all the things you're going to need to know for long shots in Modern Warfare 2. Step 1 are the classes, and the first thing I'm going to show is how to build your gun properly. So the way I like to build my guns is basically just maximum damage range, recoil control on the biggest scope you can find, or a different optic I'll show later. So for whatever gun you're using, use a barrel that gives you damage range and bullet velocity, some recoil control, anything like that. If there's a barrel that gives you recoil control that makes the damage range worse, do not use it, for example the 74 use barrel. But if you find a barrel that gives good damage range and doesn't affect your recoil or makes it better, definitely equip it. And then tuning is by far the most important thing for long shots, because tuning can really help with the recoil and damage range. If you just put these sliders up to the side and up, it's going to make your life so much better. And you want to do this for all the muzzles and all the underbarrels you use. And for muzzles, I'll definitely recommend the RF crown or any of the muzzles that give horizontal vertical recoil control. I haven't noticed a difference between all of them really. I think they're all the same or very similar. So anything that gives horizontal and vertical recoil control, equip it, and make sure you tune it for recoil stabilization and gun kick control. And I found that the phase 3 grip is the best underbarrel. A lot of people think it's the pineapple grip, since the pineapple grip shows that the bar on recoil is the longest out of all of them. This is actually incorrect. This is because the hipfire recoil controls on the stats there, so it's showing that recoil is better than most of the grips, but in fact it's just showing that the hipfire recoil control is also good. So I think the phase 3 grip is definitely the best one for recoil I found, and it's really good for aiming stability as well. And obviously you want to tune it for recoil stabilization and aiming idle stability as well. And then I like to use this 8x magnification scope. This is one of the best scopes I think for long shots because it's the highest zoom. If you don't have the scope, just use the highest magnification you have, or you can use this, the Angel 44x8. Now as you can see in the footage, as I aim at different walls, you can see that the meters actually change, and you can use this to adjust to a perfect position for getting long shots, which will really help you for the challenge. But if you've already learned where the long shot spots are, or you're going to use the spots I show later in the video, then you can go for a higher zoom scope because I think it's going to help you the best. And this really depends on the gun, but for example for the SCAR, or most of the assault rifles, I'll use the rear grip that gives you recoil control, and obviously just tune it for aiming stability and recoil steadiness, just to make the recoil even less than it already would be. And obviously if you're going for those long shots, equip the gold camo because you'll have it. For your secondaries, if you haven't done your platinum launches yet, do the launches, because whenever there's a UAV in the sky, a counter UAV, a VTOL, anything that goes in the sky, you can just destroy it with your streak, and it's going to help you to your platinums for your launches. Because if you didn't know, platinum for the launches is destroy enemy kill streaks, and all 4 of them have this, so you need to do it for all 4 of them. And it's definitely a lot easier just to do it passively while you're doing your other platinums, instead of just focus on it really hard, because then you're going to struggle a lot trying to get all the UAVs and people are stealing them. But if you do it passively, you won't be worrying about it really. You just do it, get it done with, and eventually you'll have platinum launches. But if you already have the launches done, or you just finished the launches, I'd definitely recommend handguns. Because what you can do with handguns is that if the enemy is too close for an actual long shot, you can switch to your pistol and try to get the long shot for your pistol. I've been doing this in my game, and I've already got this pistol long shots done just from passively doing it whenever enemies were too close to me for my primary weapon. So if you've done those launches, I definitely recommend doing this, because this will help you passively get those pistols done as well. Next, I just use a stim. You can use whatever you want, even stun grenades if that helps, but I just like to use a stim. You can use a prox mount like I do, just to watch your back when you're actually camping in a building. And then for the perks don't matter that much, but these are the perks I like to run that I feel help the best. Fast hands is good for reloading, so you can hold that angle again. Overclock is probably definitely needed, unless you want to use ghost, because getting those deployable covers is really useful. And then for the blue perks, use whatever you want, but I prefer those two. And like I was saying, deployable cover is definitely the best field upgrade to use. With deployable cover, you can mount up wherever you want on the map, which is going to make your recoil 50% less. So you're going to be beaming people from up to like 100 meters with any gun. And the deployable shield is one of the fastest coming back field upgrades, and with overclock, you're going to be getting the deployable shield like every 20 seconds. It's actually insane. And for kill streaks, it doesn't really matter that much. I use the UAV, counter UAV, and advanced UAV, because those just passively help me without me having to do anything, so that's what I like to use. And now onto the best spots for every map. So for our first map, we've got Farm 18. So this roof is definitely one of the better spots I like, because you can watch this left side and get easy long shots. It's the only spot you can really look at from this roof, but it's pretty easy long shots because a lot of people gravitate that way. Next on top of these containers, you can see into that window there on that right side. This spot isn't very good, but you can sometimes get some long shots here, but I wouldn't really recommend it. Next here, we have this little roof bit here. You can actually place a deployable cover here, and you can mount up and get some easy long shots. You can see like at these doors here, those are both long shots on the container, but that's about it for that spot. I think this is one of the best spots here in this little room. You can look through this door and get easy long shots, especially if there's a hard point or a domination flag there. A lot of people like to gravitate that way. And if you go into this room just to the left, it's the same thing here. You can just long shot people from back there. And now on to Tarek. And now for what I think is probably the best long shot spot in this whole game is this little building here where you can look through the windows and you get a long shot spot on basically the whole map. You get really good lines of sight. You can put down deployable cover, mount up on the rails. Everything's really good about this spot. I like it. Next up, we have this spot here on this little blue roof. You can just camp and you can see like the long shot spot there, and you can look to the left as well, although it's pretty easy to get shot at in this spot, so I don't like it too much.
And we have this building here, which I think is a pretty good building as well, because you can see off to the left here, you can see forward there. You can even see it into mid, but I don't think it's an AR long shot. But this spot right here is a perfect spot. You can see a lot of the spawn there, and people will barely see you in that little window. And lastly, we have this spot here, right next to the other blue roof. You can look over to the spawn on the left side here, which is actually pretty good. And you can look over to the tank and this little building there if anyone's camping in there. And overall, this map's actually really good for long shots. I think it's the best map. Now, what I think is one of the most obvious and easiest long shot spots is on this map here. You can just look down the middle on either side and you can just get easy kills no matter what. People are always going to be peeking this because they're trying to do their challenges, so you can always go here and just get your long shots done. So if you find that this video did help you, then please do subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.